welcome to Thanks Academy, the podcast where I watch all the best picture movies in random order with random friends. Today's random friend is Pat Sirois. What's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Are you ready?
I am ready. I'm excited. I've never seen $1 Million Baby.
Yeah.
I imagine it's about an expensive child. I think is.
Wait, do you really know absolutely nothing?
No, I know what it's about, but I like to think it's about an expensive child. But I guess $1 million, you still got a great deal. So.
That's true. Actually, I think that's a relatively normal priced child these days.
Really? Oh,
yeah,
man.
like raising a child is like now.
Oh, okay.
Very expensive.
I was talking about just buying one outright.
Oh, you're talking about upfront costs?
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be a little much.
Yeah. I was appalled at the premise of this movie. I was like, they made a movie about this?
You should get a pretty quality child for $1 million. Yeah, we are going to watch $1 Million Baby, 2004's winner, and this is exciting for me because this is the first movie I've watched for this podcast that isn't fucking older than me.
Yeah.
It's from this millennium.
Okay, all right, yeah. I know that most of that, like, when did they, like, there's a year, essentially, where they stopped adding movies. Like, there hasn't been one added, like, not like on purpose, but if you look at that 100 years, like, it's like, eventually, isn't this, like, the most recent edition? What's the most recent edition?
It's the Academy Awards, bro.
Oh, I thought we were doing like an AFI, like, shit. Or like, they had like that 100 best. Okay. Then that made no sense when I said there's a year where they quit adding movies. All right.
I was like, no, they're still making movies.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. They aren't, man. Folks at home, I'm uncultured swine.
They should have stopped giving out Academy Awards in 2004.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
Okay. I was imagining, like, they have like AFI top 100 lists.
Right. No, I've seen a lot of people doing that, and, that's good. But the problem with that is those are all somebody thinks good movies.
Yeah.
These aren't.
Yeah, a lot of Oscar winners are objectively bad movies.
Crap, yeah. These are what people thought was good at the time, not what somebody who's judging now. So we get to look at them with fresh eyes or whatever.
That's cool. I know. I've heard the sentiment expressed that they should wait 5 years to give out Oscars. Have you heard about this?
Oh, like Hall of Fame style?
Well, yeah, and like really actually like wait to see the cultural impact it has, because the year it comes out, it's like you have, like that's why you look at like Forrest Gump beat out Pulp Fiction, and people are like, Pulp Fiction changed the way movies are made. Forrest Gump didn't necessarily, but
did not.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know if you remember this.
More movies were made with Tom Hanks after Forrest Gump. So
yeah, it changed the way Tom Hanks makes movies.
Changed the way Tom Hanks movies were made.
And isn't the world really just Tom Hanks? I wish the world was Tom Hanks.
You think we like living on Tom Hanks' head or something?
I guess any interpretation of the sentence, "I wish the world was Tom Hanks," I think I'd get behind it. Yeah, for example, the world is Tom Hanks' head. I'd be like, yeah. I think it'd be an improvement. Like, or if you're just like everybody in the world was like Tom Hanks, I'm like, yeah, definite improvement.
Oh yeah, I could see this as like a better alternative to being a flat earther.
Yeah,
it's like you're a Tom Hankser.
I'm a Hank Earther. Hanks Earther, yeah.
Because at least you've got something spheroid.
Yeah,
so you have physics working against you.
Yeah, I was booted out of the Flat Earth Society for suggesting we all live on Tom Hanks' head. They called me a quack. You know what's funny is, I don't know if you remember this. Years ago, we had a drunken conversation. We were talking about movies that
I refuse to remember.
Yeah,
this.
I refuse to remember to remember a lot. But
okay, what were we talking about?
I mentioned something about how we were talking about top 5 movies, and I said something about how. And I said, I know this is cliche, everybody says it, but like Forrest Gump is one of my favorite movies. And you were like, that's not cliche. No one says that. And I was like, what? I was like, I thought that was like beloved. You were like, I mean, not everybody feels that way. And I was like, as the first time, I was like, oh, I guess I just thought it was like a given. Like, well, of course you'll love Forrest Gump.
I don't even think that one's beloved by Tom Hanks anymore.
That was a big deal in our household. The Forrest Gump was it was a milestone.
I think I saw Forrest Gump. Should we switch and do Forrest? Didn't that win Best? Yeah, we'll have to watch Forrest Gump now.
Yeah, at some point.
We're talking about that more. I think I saw Forrest Gump in Arkansas, which was very appropriate.
Yeah, it's about the place you need to watch.
Yeah, I was on some sort of road trip.
The place that considers Jenny the villain. Well, Jenny is obviously the antagonist.
I don't want to parse that movie right now.
Yeah, let's talk about the movie at hand here.
So, Clint Eastwood. I don't know if I've ever seen a Clint Eastwood starring movie. I don't think I've seen him act in a movie.
I've seen Unforgiven.
Yeah, it's the one I've seen.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I've seen Unforgiven. And I think I've seen Gran Torino.
I have seen Gran Torino, yeah.
The one where he's racist.
Yeah. People. I haven't watched that again since since the National Awakening, like I haven't really watched that movie yet. And I liked it when it came out. I was like, oh, it's a really good movie. And I never go back and watch it now. I'm just like, ooh, that was just, this dude wrote lines for himself that were like just to say the most tame one on Fish Head maybe might be the most tame. And it's just,
I think he's a really interesting person in Hollywood because he's obviously famously Republican.
Yeah.
And the thing he's probably most remembered for at the moment amongst people under the age of 23 is yelling at an empty chair.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So he seems like this senile old crazy Republican, but at the same time, all of his movies have the Republican version of a liberal streak to them.
Yeah.
I'm saying this without having seen them.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of is the good guy really the good guy? Is the bad guy really the bad guy? Which is kind of a postmodern, not black and white. It was not John Wayne. He was literally famously the anti-John Wayne.
Yeah.
And Gran Torino has sort of redeeming.
Yeah, I could
out you shouldn't be
exactly. I could imagine a Republican watching that and being like, "Oh, this not even feel attacked," but they would definitely look at that and they might look at that as a description of compassionate conservatism or something. See, look at this guy. We should all just come around,
we should all keep saying racist things.
Yes. Well,
but begrudgingly being slightly nicer sometimes, as long as it means getting to kill some of them.
Yeah.
I can see how that's...
as long as you get to kill the bad ones.
That's actually where we're at right now, isn't it?
Yeah. This guy who has since unfriended me since the 2016 election, a kid I grew up with named Mark, he said one of the funniest fucking things ever. I saw a meme that was it was a picture of a lunchbox with lunchbox style graphics and it was Gran Torino themed, and it was how the superheroes were running, and it was so it was I can't remember the hell's name.
Clint
Eastwood running with a rifle in his hand, and the two Hmong kids behind him, and they're it looks like an old campy serial type shit. And so I posted that thing. It was funny, and this kid said, "Good thing it's not a paper bag lunch, or those Hmong kids couldn't act their way out of it." And I was like,
"Oh my god!"
I was like, "That is hilarious."
That is a good burn.
That's a solid burn.
Sick burn. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry we lost him to the other side, man. During the election, he's got rid of my ass. So.
That's all right. So they need some talent over there. Anyway, this one I imagine, I haven't seen it either, but it's probably the same thing as Gran Torino, I'm guessing, but with... Ooh, it's a woman.
It's a woman boxer.
It's a girl boxer. Yeah. And then he gradually comes to get over that slightly.
Yeah.
Is what I'm guessing the journey is here.
Yeah. And I think it's brave of her to be a boxer because, she can only box 28 days out every month, right? I imagine he would say something like that.
Okay, do you think we're going to get a period joke in this? I think we are.
I think...
a stab. Maybe not a joke, but it's going to come up, right?
I think the period joke is strictly owned by the left mocking the right of their understanding of things. They'd be I don't think they would ever make that a joke about a boxer being on her period knowingly or consciously.
I'm actually going to think that Clint Eastwood's going to say something about her having a period. I think it's going to come up. It's either going to be a scene or he's going to make some off-color remark, and that's part of his learning journey not to be that way.
Yeah, that's it.
I think that's going to be in there. I just have a strong feeling.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is my second boxing movie in a row.
Yeah, to anyone who's just let's say they just started listening last week and listening this week, she's like, oh yeah, it's this podcast where this lady just reviews boxing movies.
Tune in next week for Digstown, where we talk about how James Woods also a horrible person.
James was the other guy. I go back though, and I watched his body of work, and I'm like, I'm not that sad we lost him. I like that movie, Another Day in Paradise. That shit was tight.
I was a fan of James Woods as sort of a character actor who I thought was interesting to watch. But it wasn't strong enough to make me overcome him being a total piece of shit as a person. And now that I look, same way. It's not a very weighty career.
Yeah, exactly.
He kind of got outpaced by God. Who's another one who's an interesting character? Willem Dafoe has run laps around him.
Yeah. Oh damn, that's a solid comparison.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Willem Dafoe, it could be flipped, and then we'd all think that James Woods is pretty tight, and Willem Dafoe is a dick.
Yeah,
just depending on their Twitter presence.
I swear, if I was a Republican actor, I would just never say it. I guess then they would say that's the bad part.
That's what they're so annoyed by, or whatever. whatever.
Yeah. But I'm just like, I don't know. Just enjoy that life and just shut the fuck up.
And I mean, honestly, when I sit down to watch a movie, unless it's somebody who's done something so heinous that it's disgusting, which I will have to watch Annie Hall at some point. But like there's a couple people who have crossed some lines in real life where I just can't even, like, I'm not going to go enjoy a Roman Polanski movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Bill Cosby movie.
Yeah.
Those are such good movies.
Anyway. Yeah. Well, among a lot of the bad things he did, his jump to film was probably like...
Yeah, what am I going to do? Like, not watch Leonard Part 6 now? Yeah. Oh, boy, a big hole in my filmography.
Yeah, right. Ghost Dad's not on the list, though? Ghost Dad's on the list.
But at the same time, like, if they just have a political bent, like, I'll watch a Clint. I'm going to watch a Clint.
Yeah, we're doing it right fucking now.
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood seems like, I feel like I know, they don't want you to, like, I look at him and I kind of feel like I'm like, somewhere in there seems like a good person that like maybe like if you actually sat him down, I was like, no, look at all the shit the party's doing right now. He might be like, yeah. He seems like he's a reasonable person.
I think he's just. I'm going to chalk him up in the group. Let's psychoanalyze someone we've never met. I'm going to put him in the group of Hollywood actors, and this comes with no politics. This is across the aisle, who just started to buy their own shit. At some point in their career, they got a certain persona rolling. And then that became who they were, and then they bought their own publicity about it. Yeah. Now the thing is that Clint Eastwood is an Academy Award-winning actor, director.
Yeah, he's talented.
He's allowed to think he is good at this. Obviously. Yeah. But I think he bought into his own like fucking dirty, hairy persona-ness too, and that probably informs
when you
his
buy
politics.
in, and then society changes around you, and it's like
it wants it from you.
Yeah. And then the tides change. Like public opinion is different, and now that character that you created back then doesn't really have a place in today's society. And it's like, do you realize that was just kind of a character and you adapt and overcome like the general mood, or you dig in and now you look like a relic? It's I
have a lot of empathy for people who get twisted by fame to that degree. It only goes so far. But I have a lot of empathy for like the problems they face, like connecting with society. If society leaves them behind, like you said, obviously, if they decide they're better or above the law, then they don't have any.
Exactly. Yeah, like they're. It's funny the ones who like I guess even if you went back far enough would be considered like even left of center, and now society's moved and they've been left in the dust, and now they look like they look like relics. I'm trying to think of a good example of that, but. Just you'll see somebody
who
like,
the opposite way. Ronald Reagan looks like a fucking Democrat now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or like I was like Bill Maher. Bill Maher used to be like heavily associated with the left, and then it just like the left kind of changed, and it was just like, no, that dude's actually kind of an asshole. Like, I
feel like with Bill Maher, it's more been like society has said, yeah, okay, we'll listen to you, you're funny, and then said, no, you suck. Like from both sides. Yeah, it's more like you're in or out with him. Than
He's constantly he's a free agent between sides. Like,
I don't even think he's bouncing back and forth. It's everybody at the same time. Nobody wants
him. Exactly. Yeah, now he's just he's fucking.
But he'll be fine.
Yeah, he's the Colin Kaepernick of political discourse.
Don't give him that much credit. He was not that good, like stats-wise. Stats-wise, as a comedian, he was not Colin Kaepernick. Possible Rookie of the Year good. Yeah, no, never ever.
His stand-up special, I don't know if the last one. I don't know what the fuck his last one even was. I just
it just became an obscure football podcast.
Yeah.
See what I was watching on these sports movies is doing to me? Let's watch the movie. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
We'll catch up. We'll ramble later after the movie. We're going to watch $1 Million Baby.
Old El Paso.
Don't be fooled, it's from New York City.
Yeah.
Is this Rocky 3?
I normally don't think it's a good idea for the movie to use the title of the movie in the movie, but when this guy stands up and yells, "That's $1 million baby," I thought that it was a good addition.
She grew up knowing one thing. She was trash.
Oh my god. god. There's something out hearing Morgan Freeman say that makes me want to put it on my voicemail.
She grew up knowing one thing. She was trash. Just a garbage ass motherfucker.
Somebody tell me what's going on. I
just don't know what.
You telling me this is your fighter?
Say yes, you old fart.
When you gotta claim the side chick in public.
What the heck is going on? Oh shit.
Jesus fucking
That was
Christ.
fucking brutal.
That was dope.
That was some fucking Mike Tyson shit. What?
Man.
Make the long be just right.
He didn't even get his stool up.
I'd prefer if you stopped.
Yeah. I'm so uninterested in this mystery of why he's a grudgy old man. Ooh. It's kind of weird to watch a boxing movie where the boxer is like too good.
Yeah.
After our 12th straight knockout, Frankie got a couple of real good offers.
Movie bills.
That's like that's like movie coughing. Like the minute a character coughs, he has cancer.
Yeah.
The minute you see a bill, somebody's broke.
Yeah. Because I've been broke for years. They still send me the bills. You know, like, they don't stop doing it.
You know what he keeps in all those shoe boxes?
Pills.
Shoes.
Oh shit. Oh, those were the letters to his.
So he's not broke financially, just emotionally.
Yeah. Oh, his life is trash. Okay.
Oh, his moral account is overdrawn. Says no parking right there.
Yeah. That's the kind of morally bankrupt guy he is. He didn't give a shit.
These fucking movie stars.
Yeah.
It's kind of stupid.
Yeah, I don't.
I heard she's good at beating people up.
Yeah. Hey, you know that thing that we all like to watch on pay-per-view?
She got really world famous at it.
Yeah.
What a loser.
Yeah. Idiot. Bet she ain't got no kids.
I don't like her because she's a girl.
Yeah. She's got Hollywood good looks, lives in LA making tons of money. What a bitch.
Oh, look at the life she could have. A vintage truck and a dog.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Didn't think they'd go there. Do it. End the movie.
Yeah. Do it for us.
Do it for us. She's the only one who's taking pity on us.
Yeah.
Oh, we've been thinking about it the whole time. It's too boring.
After what I've done, I see the world.
Oh, God.
My name.
Uh-huh.
Actually, they're chanting Mushkol.
They're chanting Makushla.
Name some damn name you gave me.
Yeah, well, it translates to not Margaret. Oh, you know, you can just play a tape of the fight. If you need, like, remembering,
Yeah.
we can get a TV. We didn't know you wanted one.
So you want a TV?
That's why she wants to die. They don't have a fucking TV in that room.
It's got him reading fucking Yeats.
Yeats. You seem like the kind of person who's carrying around a lot of guilt.
Yeah.
Here's a ton more. Just a fuck ton more. Just an entire garbage truck's worth of guilt. And you ain't even done anything yet. I'm just going to pour that on your chest, you sad fucking sap. I need to keep my best customer around. How's she going to tell him if she changed her mind?
Yeah, right. Do it.
I've had some time to think.
The fart meant no.
I realized I just need a TV.
Just die saying Netflix. Netflix.
Okay, that was
Man. That's a that is a good. I mean, it is a good movie. I was well made.
Really?
I can see if I would have seen it. I guess I say production value. Which of course they spent millions of dollars on it, but it was. I feel like I just got beaten submission. I'm just like, it was good. I guess. It was definitely like there was a lot of like over sentimentality, but I can't expect that. I kind of wish they would have showed her like on top of the world a little bit and gave a little bit of joy into it. Like she talked about how she was in the magazines and all that shit. Obviously, you can tell she was famous. People at the shows, but it was still just like every scene that wasn't in a boxing ring was at that fucking dirty gym in LA, or like a hotel room or a pie stand. And like I would have liked to see her once, just like go out the street and people were like, "Yo, it's $1 Million Baby."
I like that you call her boxing matches shows. That's great.
Shows. Oh yeah.
All right, for those who haven't seen it, here's what happens. This girl shows up to get boxed and trained in boxing. She's been
Put me in a box, coach. I don't put girls in boxes.
She's been boxing for 3 years, but somehow she hasn't learned anything.
Yeah, hasn't. Yeah,
just nothing. She can't even hit, but she's really good at it.
Yeah,
she's just she's so West Virginia. She's just like
yeah.
And
the Clint Eastwood, he says, "I don't train girls." But he says it as a way, it's like a mantra that he's always had. Like, hey, everybody knows me. They know one thing about me. I don't train girls. Like, does he just go around saying that? Or was that the first time he's ever presented with a girl who was like, hey, can you train me? And he's like, what?
I know. I expected him to, like, cut to his, like, car and it had, like, a vanity plate that said, don't train girls.
Yeah. DNTTRNGLS.
And Morgan Freeman works at his gym too, so that we get I think the only purpose of Morgan Freeman being there is so we have a narrator.
Yeah, which he narrates it.
Yeah.
And then like that's how much like when Clint Eastwood sits down and says, okay, I'm gonna make a movie. I've got he's just like that's one thing I say, he's been in the game long enough. He knows how to make, the kind of movie he wants to make. And he's like top to back, front to back, top to bottom. I'll have fucking Morgan Freeman narrate the whole thing.
Morgan Freeman narrates this more than March of the Penguins. He describes everything going on the screen. At one point, you see a syringe empty, and he's like, he emptied the whole syringe. Like, we're watching the movie. This isn't a radio play.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Okay, so anyway, she teaches her how to box reluctantly. There's an hour of back and forth about that shit. And she's really good. She's like Mike Tyson good. She punches out everybody in the first round.
Yeah.
And he keeps moving her up, and then she finally gets to go to the title match. And the person she fights is like
a former prostitute out of East Berlin.
No, was that it?
Yeah.
Was that her?
That was the dirtiest fighter in the league.
Okay.
Or the
some Ivan Drago wannabe.
Yeah, stand-in.
Punches after the bell. Everybody knows it. She does it in the first round, and then she does it in the third round and knocks Hilary Swank into a stool, and then she's paralyzed from the waist down.
Yeah. The stool that throughout the movie, they made a lot of focus on how he swept it into the bottom rug and then stood it up straight completely and planted it down firmly. Yeah. And he did that every time. They made it a point to show it going down like that.
Yeah.
And then towards the end, he has that guy who was seconding in the corner. At one point, the match, the end of the break right before, he goes to put him, and he's putting it all sloppy, and he goes, "Let me do it, God damn it!" He snatches it from him, puts it in the right way, and then the next one they do it, they does it wrong again, and then
there's his neck.
And she punches late, knocks her out, she hits it, and that is where they could have been like, damn, and I guess she really was $1 million baby. Like, ended it right there.
That's right.
But
I thought she was dead. And I was like, ooh, this movie just got interesting. They just killed her.
And then,
no,
30 more minutes, a literal another half hour, where it just, like, goes into detail about all the things to expect when you're paralyzed from the fucking throat down. And, the last half of it was like a fucking employee introduction video for working at a nursing home. Like, she gets her fucking leg amputated, her family tries to steal all her money.
Yep.
They just, everything bad happens, and it doesn't ever, like, it just drags the fuck out for the last 30 minutes and just piles heartbreak on top of heartbreak with no real narrative.
That was probably why it won, because it was supposed to be like so touching and whatever. Here's the problem. Most of the characters in this movie are cartoons.
Yeah.
Right? The welfare squeezing mom's a cartoon.
Yeah.
They have this like mentally handicapped kid at the gym who acts like a cartoon. Morgan Freeman is a walking sexually harassing cartoon.
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood's playing the usual grumpy old man.
Falcon and Luis.
Yeah, Falcon's in this movie.
Yeah.
And he's the cocky ass.
Yeah, cocky ass dude who. Yeah. But you noticed who.
No three-dimensional characters in this movie.
Not one.
Not even Hilary Swank, whose entire thing is, she just keeps going.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Well, yeah, it's admirable and it's kind of cool when you root for her, but like it's not like, her inner life is so interesting.
Yeah. It's just automatically she's shown as being like just like almost morally perfect.
Yes.
From Jump Street, like she's like completely everything she does is right as far as morals go. Yeah. And so you never have to she doesn't make a journey. Nothing it's just
she started perfect and then she was a perfect person at the end, except she was slightly better at boxing.
Yeah.
Well, not the end. At the end, she sucked at everything.
At the end, I'd say she was probably worse at boxing.
She was very bad at boxing at the end. I was having a lot of fun making fun of quadriplegic, but I just couldn't deal with the fact.
Well, when you're 2 hours into the fucking sob fest.
I didn't care about any of these characters. And I mean, I kind of cared enough about the story to be interested to see where it goes. But then where it went, ground to the halt, and you're supposed to care about the characters. I'm like, we know how this is going to end.
Yeah.
She's going to die.
Yeah.
And then she starts asking Clint Eastwood to kill her, and I'm like, do it. But then we got to wait 15 minutes for him to come around the idea. And there's the world's worst priest is in this movie.
The literal world's worst priest.
He cusses. He hates people who show up at his church. He gives bad advice.
He gives horrible advice. Yeah, he actually, his last thing in the movie is he gives objectively, like, not even just bad advice, because you could say by his worldview it's good, so it's but like...
It's not what he's telling him to do or not do. It's how he's doing it.
Yeah, how he's telling it. And then the movie goes out of your way to prove that he was objectively wrong. So it's like he just goes out with as giving the worst advice. Like, he didn't even need to fucking be there.
This is okay. I don't know everything there is to know about Clint Eastwood because I don't really like him or seek out his movies or anything. But between this and Gran Torino, I'm starting to see a pattern that this is a dude who sees the world as a series of stereotypes.
Yeah.
And the main undercurrent is, wow, you never really know what to do.
Yeah.
Guess you gotta figure out how to deal with these stereotypes one at a time. And I guess that's true if you're a certain shallow kind of person. But like, there's no, I don't know. I'm being very harsh on this movie. I'm sure Clint Eastwood is a decent actor in it. You see some humanity. He's actually not a bad guy throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Other than not wanting to train girls, he doesn't do the menstruating thing, which I thought there was gonna be I thought for sure. No, there was none of that bullshit. It was just they didn't want to train girls, and I think
at one point talk about her boobs. The way I made the joke said she had mosquito bites.
Well, Falcon was being a dick,
Yeah,
but that was
Falcon was
his.
being a dick,
that
yeah.
was his whole thing.
You know, he really, when he meets Cap, he becomes a better person when he meets Cap.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He's shitty in this movie, but he didn't have his wings yet.
Yeah.
You gotta cut him some slack.
But he's humbled by his military service because he did some time in Iraq.
Yeah, after he got knocked out by Morgan Freeman.
He knocks out a young man in the prime of his boxing career. One of the prime, but just definitely in his physical peak. He knocks him the fuck out.
The prime of his non-career.
For beating up, like, it is kind of funny that, like, because again, my Clint Eastwood viewing is also limited. So between this and Gran Torino, there is a thing where it's almost like he doesn't like black characters who aren't neutered in some respect.
Ooh, that's true.
Yeah, like every black character that is not like for example, okay, in fucking there's just literally no black characters in Gran Torino except for those black characters.
I thought there were some gangsters. Yeah,
the wannabe gangsters.
Yeah.
And he gives them zero credit, zero respect, and but then in this one, it's like Morgan Freeman's character is is at the end. He's neutered in terms of like masculinity and aggressiveness.
He's literally missing an eye.
Literally missing an eye.
And also, the person he still treats the worst in this movie. He's like a good guy
he's
to everybody except Morgan Freeman is a total asshole too.
He's a complete dick to him.
Right down to the very end when he just like doesn't show back up at his gym.
He leaves.
No will, no instructions.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman, who's been living in poverty in his like spare room, didn't inherit the gym.
Yeah, and like, what if like he's there and like the fucking IRS shows up like, hey bud, you pay us all the taxes on this place. Or
is he getting evicted now? Like what happened to him? He's homeless.
He's gonna lose his HBO Go account. I'll tell you that goddamn much. Oh man. Well, no, and then like also his initial client, his initial boxer that he has is that the guy who's going to win the championship at the beginning.
Oh yeah, the swole Tay Diggs looking guy.
Yeah. Even he is like insanely humble, and then so every time you see a black dude like act out or like assert himself in any way, it's like it's very fucking like
he's super bad guy. Yeah,
it's super bad guy. But then it comes out and they're all those dudes are teamed up beating the shit out of that poor little white kid who was the only fighter he knew whoever had pure heart. Like, and so I don't know. I don't want to apply a racial component that's not there, but I definitely
it's there.
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking about that during the final fight because she was fighting. I don't know. I guess she's a former prostitute from East Germany, but she didn't look ethnically Caucasian.
Yeah, but Germany's like America as far as Europe goes in terms of immigrant
populations. Yeah. She's from some other part of the world. Anyway, she got cornrows. She's definitely like hooded up.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's meant to you can definitely feel the highlight between. Rural kid from West Virginia, no coding there. She's got a fucking Gaelic nickname. All the Irish people love her. Yeah. She made her name in Europe, and now she comes back to Vegas and fights somebody with cornrows who fights dirty and kills her.
It's
hard to miss that,
What do you think? Actually, aside from Morgan Freeman and the slightly mentally disabled boxing kid, every person is kind of a bad person. The fucking promoters of the champ, those guys are assholes. They were there, they're having a beer. The kid in the beginning dips out on him.
Everybody's against him.
Every manager is shitty. Everybody's literally, he's the only decent person in the entire world.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Or not even now. I'm talking about him. Morgan Freeman is, but in his mind, I guess he would be.
He would. Well, yeah. I don't know what to say about this movie other than it left me surprisingly super flat. It just I just didn't want to watch it after a certain point, not because it was hard to watch, but because it was too easy to watch and I was bored.
You already know what's gonna happen. Like I said, at one point when they pull in after she goes and realizes that she buys her family a house, and her fucking welfare queen mom is just like, well, they're going to cut my welfare now that you gave it definitely has a fucking entire message on there about people who live off the state. Like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, but so they pull off to that little pie bar. I don't know what to describe it as.
It's a pie bar.
It's a pie bar. They go to a pie bar. But they pulled up. It was so boring at that point. I was like, when they drove in there, I was like, I hope they just I hope the shootout happens or something.
I hope she has to box her way out of this pie bar, Roadhouse style.
I would have liked to see some shit where she goes out to like she's at work one day and there's a rude customer and she knocks him out. Totally cliche and hacky, but really no more cliche and hacky than what the fuck was already in the movie. And it would have been a little exciting.
So let's talk about the emotional relationship we're supposed to feel, which is that not only does it come around to the idea that he can train a girl boxer and not, compromise his morals or whatever. Well, he doesn't really spell out why he wouldn't. I guess it's because he would feel like, oh, he can't let a girl get hit or something. I don't know. So throughout the movie, she exhibits pretty strong daddy issues, and he exhibits pretty strong daddy issues right back, and they kind of get together and be kind of family. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. It's sweet. It's portrayed very cleanly. There's nothing creepy about it. We made a couple of cracks when he went into give her pecks on the cheek, but at the same time, it's definitely...
cheeks were getting kissed.
Some cheeks got pecked, but it's innocent enough.
Yeah.
It really wasn't that bad. But here's the thing. There's a weird subplot that doesn't really get resolved, that he has another daughter.
Yeah.
Who he is not talking to, and they never say why. And she mails him a letter every week or month or something.
Or he mails her a letter.
No. Oh, they get back to him?
Yeah, they get returned to sender. And he finally came home and saw the one that wasn't returned to sender. I think.
Oh, I think they were all returned to sender.
But then it turns out Morgan Freeman narrating his guy is writing a letter to his daughter.
Yeah.
Letting her know what kind of guy he really was, and maybe you'd see it in your heart to forgive him. Are you going to ask what did he do that his daughter didn't talk to him for 30 years?
I thought, oh God, see, this really changes things.
Yeah.
See, I thought she was mailing him letters and he was just putting them away in a shoebox and not reading them. And I'm like, you've got a perfectly good daughter, Dick.
Oh, see, you very well could be right. I thought he had written letters.
No, you're right. That makes, I don't know because when he complains to the priest, he asks, did you write your daughter? And he says, I do every week. And then the priest says, yeah, right. You haven't. So that's why I thought maybe he wasn't responding to his daughter. But now, what a double weird thing then if he was writing letters and he'd tell the priest the truth, and that priest was such a bad priest.
Yeah, well, that makes sense because he was a bad priest.
He was a very bad priest.
You were expecting to do something that a good priest would do.
Well, not a good priest, just like a semi-amateur detective.
Yeah. Anyone with a job ever.
He goes to church every day in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And he hates it. Well, I guess he's an Irish Catholic. So.
And he corners the fucking the priest after every sermon to debate with him about the
not even debate, just ask really super simple basic questions.
That's what I think.
In a way that's so stupid.
Yeah, I think it was done in a way to be like, doesn't that sound a little ridiculous though? Because at one point when he sees him, he goes, you got any time to talk about immaculate conception? He goes, fuck you. Like the priest tells him, fuck you, and walks off.
That I think was honestly the right priest.
Yeah. We were watching the audio file pop up, and my cough just maxed out.
That's all right. I edit the coughs out if I can. Well, now I gotta edit this whole. Yeah. No, I don't. I don't know how to do nothing. It's my podcast.
Yeah, right.
You're listening to it. Plug your ears if you don't want to hear me tell you about my editing technique.
My favorite thing to do.
God, I'm feisty. This movie made me
mad. Yeah. You want to go out there and fight.
Now, the boxing in this movie was fantastic. His boxing in this movie was better than Rocky.
That shit was tight, yeah.
It was way better than Rocky. It was faster. It was brutal. It was like, it made me, a couple times. It was believable. Hilary Swank is just ripped. She's really good in this movie. Crazy. From, actually, both of the leads did a great job acting. I don't have any issues with the acting.
Yeah, that actually, they were good performances. Now, here's something. Do you think, is this my fucking straight white male way of viewing that? I don't think this was lacking, but did they seem to play her almost as asexual? And the fact that I'm noticing that, does that mean that I'm like, is it wrong of me to expect there to be at least some sort of... But it doesn't even get into the whole thing of like, well, why didn't she go down and find a nice man? Like, that's what her mom wanted to do. Her mom did say that to her, find a husband. But like, I felt when you want to talk about a one-dimensional character, like, it felt like that wouldn't even been like, oh, if she's a woman, what are they going to do about her love interest or whatever? But like, give her some sort of like fleshed out thing that made her seem more like a fucking person. I guess that's
what it is.
Yeah,
and it didn't have to be that, but
there was nothing that was
nothing written in. There was like a lack of curiosity on the part of the screenplay writer into what her internal life was. Yeah, they showed a lot of her external life, like struggling to pay the bills and scraping together money and being upright and moral.
And to say that they showed her struggling to pay the bills and scraping together money. they literally showed her scraping together money.
Yeah.
That was how fucking Clint Eastwood suddenly told us that she was broke. She poured out a huge fucking jar of change and scraping it together, literally scraping together money to go buy
This
something.
movie is not subtle. There's nothing subtle about it.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, so yeah, there was not enough curiosity about her as a character, and that's why when she became a quadriplegic, I was just annoyed.
Yeah.
I was like, I know she had a dream to be a boxer. That's done. So we just gotta wait for this to play out.
Yeah,
And he brought up, hey, maybe you could go back to school. She gave no indication she was interested in school.
Yeah, I think that was to give it a little bit. That was and I guess maybe even a cheap way of giving it a little more of a jar that she's asked to die, because he's over here talking about like, and again, it's a cheap way to get it, and he's
cheap.
He's talking about like, I was thinking you could go to school, and in my head I was like, oh, she's gonna go to school and fucking like,
become a PhD or something.
Yeah, a PhD or something.
And he's going to be her tutor because he's her doctor trainer guy.
Yeah.
No, none of
and
that.
then, she cut him off. Like, yeah, college, that's nice. Hey, can you kill me, please?
What about me?
Yeah.
Says I should go to college.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a problem. Now, they did have one little tiny moment where they are on some sort of road trip to a fight, and that was the road trip out to show the mom the house. And then she sees a little girl in the car with a dog. And she has like a moment of connection with the girl. And it seems at first like, oh, she's having that maternal feeling. Yeah, she's like in her mid-30s. So it'd be very natural for her to be, whoa, I just felt that, right?
Yeah.
But then she asks Clint Eastwood in the next scene, have you ever had a dog? So apparently she was just looking at the dog.
Yeah. I noticed that. I was like, hey, get that fucking... She's like, hey, can you get that kid out of the way of this dog I'm trying to stare at?
When she waved at the kid, she wasn't waving hello. She's waving out of the way.
Yeah, move. I'm waving at your little dog
I'm waving at the dog.
Which again, goes back to the thing of there was like... not that, like I said, it doesn't need to be a relationship. She doesn't need to have a kid or anything like that. But there was just nothing that like showed her who she was outside of a boxer. Like, a boxer and like even when she was serving waiting tables, she was
boxing.
Yeah, she was doing her little leg exercises and warm-ups. It just never gave...
Ooh, that was hot. Her legs were tight in this movie.
Yo, that's a well put together person. And, just... Yeah. They did at one point, he called her breasts mosquito bites. And then those training clothes came off, and she got like the ring attire. Those were not mosquito bites.
Well, that's true too. Yeah,
that was
that was the whole thing.
Yeah,
I mean that was one of the scenes that almost had to happen.
Yeah,
like oh well, we can't just have a chick walk into a boxing
and at the
place
very,
that's never had a girl's trained
like,
before and not have her face some sort of bullshit.
And I obviously I know like men are assholes, but I imagine in a real life situation it might be a little more indifference than anything else. And then maybe some dude walking over and going like, well, what do we have here? Is that some breast? It's just like
that's kind of how it went.
Yeah.
That's almost a direct quote. It is very high school movie. I mean,
yeah, exactly. Very predictable.
There's no
it's funny because like even like in stand up where women have had to fight through a lot of barriers. Like, I mean, I don't know how much of it was them walking up and some guys come up and like, hey, fellow comedians, come check out that girl. Like, it just doesn't happen like that in life. It's like a little more institutionalized. Like the problems they do, but it's not like on a personal level. It usually goes from like indifference to maybe like sexual impropriety, and who doesn't get that?
I mean, from just a comfort standpoint, I'd rather watch the cartoon character version of it than the like real life version of it, where she gets cornered in the locker room all by herself.
Of course,
you know what I mean. Like,
I guess that's the only other option. Shit,
which is the real life.
Yeah,
that's how it really happens.
Yeah, that's
so. But whatever. That scene, I just kind of chalked. Oh God, I chalked that up with Danger. The mentally handicapped comic relief.
Oh man,
thanks for that, Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, dude, like it's so funny when people like one of the few things I'm good at in this world is jokes, Yeah. And so like that's the only thing. Like I have friends who have useful skills like carpentry and electrician work, and they can like look at a building or a residence, go, oh that's good or that's bad. Here's what they should have done there. I only know that about one thing. It's about writing like dick jokes and shit. So like you'll see sometimes where it's a movie. And it's like nobody told him that's not a joke or that's not what's funny.
Yeah.
And like the danger scenes are just like fucking bad. And like okay, at one point this motherfucker, an ongoing gag of the movie is this motherfucker very, very closely examines bottles of water. And they're like, what's he fucking looking at? And then you find out one time they're frozen bottles of water. And he wants to know how they got all that ice in that little bitty hole.
Oh, of course he's from Texas.
Yeah,
with a thick draw.
Yeah, just like an improbable draw.
If having him be mentally handicapped wasn't enough, they had to make him Southern too, so we really got the point that he was slow.
Yeah. And he and then the other joke is like they come over and he says, talks about the girl, he's like, look at her fucking little mosquito bite titties, and she goes, you spent so much time with your face in the mat in your last fight. I thought the mat had titties. Which, good burn. Solid burn.
That was a sick burn.
Yeah, and then everybody starts laughing, and then like, fucking, what's his face?
Danger,
like, it's like, the mat had titties. Like, hits the ground and starts like fucking the floor, like putting his face in the floor, like, the mat had titties, the mat had titties.
Yeah, it's so uncomfortable.
And it's like, dude, the joke was what she said. This is what's happening right here. It's just a guy having a seizure. Like, this.
Well, it was basically the filmmakers, and by filmmakers I mean Clint Eastwood, because this is his rodent-directed film.
Rodent-directed? No. He trained mice to fucking... He's a rodent-directed.
Apparently he just thought it was hilarious to make fun of the mentally handicapped, because that was our main comic relief. And then and then we went on that really fun... unnecessary 15-minute subplot where we had to redeem Danger by getting his ass kicked. And that's where Morgan Freeman got to beat up Falcon. And it's like, the whole purpose of that was to make us feel a little bit better about laughing at him the rest of the movie.
Yeah, I get it. But like you could take the whole fucking thing out of there. And then at the end he goes, after Frank disappears, Clint Eastwood disappears, and you wonder what the fuck's going to happen. At the last minute, he goes, and then one day... the door opened, and in walked a ghost.
And we thought it was
fucking Danger. It's like, who gives a fuck about that guy? You can tell me they found him dead in the LA River, and I'd just be like, all right, man, I guess that's what happened to Danger. Like, Danger, it's still like MASH, like, he died going over the Sea of Japan. Like, no, the whole cast just starts crying.
So if anybody who's been following this podcast up till now has found it to be too politically correct and too sensitive, I just want to throw out there that in this particular episode, Pat and I are fully agreed that this movie about the moral quandaries of euthanasia, we wanted all these characters dead.
Just fucking dead.
We were making fun of the quadriplegic. We didn't care if the guy with mental problems died in a river.
Nope.
We don't care.
I thought Hilary Swank's character lived too long.
Way too long. So did Hilary Swank's character. Yeah. So, I mean, at least we agreed on that.
Like, just if he hasn't drunk... And this is the thing. People mistake, I think, more often than anything else in the movie that people think is good about a movie is just fucking sentimentality that's just not earned.
This is such a melodrama. It's a total melodrama. Yeah.
So, like, they fucking... towards the end, when you've already seen her get her fucking leg amputated, she's already talking about how her...
Which, by the way, you're a quadriplegic, not a big deal. I'm sorry, but like honestly, it's treated like that's the last straw.
Yeah, like, oh damn, my leg.
No pun intended.
Yeah. And then she can't move anything. And it's just like gut punches. This is like now her fucking leg's gone, and hey, her family sucks too. And what's that? She fucking also is attempting to kill herself by biting her tongue open to bleed to death, and they're stitching her up.
On it or something.
And because she's such a fighter, she just keeps coming back and biting the stitches out, and it's just like. And at one point, I wanted to be like, I thought they were just gonna be like, and then right before she died, like she got hit by a car. Also, and it's like, what are you doing? Like,
and the car was driven by that same boxer who killed her.
Yeah. And she died looking at a picture of her dog who had no hind legs. Oh, her dad and the dog. You found the dog that she had was had fucked up back legs and had to drag himself into every room. Was that supposed
to be foreshadowing?
Yeah, it was. And she goes, then he had to kill her. And she goes, I want you to do for me what my dad did for you.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so too much. It's so over the top.
And then, they fucking, so she says that her and her dad would watch the dog crawl into every room. It's just a German Shepherd. That's a huge dog, and he hauled himself in by his front fucking legs.
It's knocking some shit over.
Yeah, and so he's like, he's definitely clean, knocking faces off of shelves and shit. And so they said every time he would walk in, they would laugh and bust up laughing. Like, okay, if you ever owned a dog, you know how many times a dog enters the room that you're in? And she said every time we'd bust up laughing. It's like, 9 times a day? You guys are just like, Pop, you're not going to believe it again. Look at this goddamn dog. And they did that for years because they grew up in Missouri and there's nothing to do there.
So that was in Missouri? I thought it was West Virginia. No, you're right. It was Missouri.
Yeah, she was from the northern quarter
Ozarks.
of
Ozarks,
the
not
Ozarks,
Appalachians.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Anyway, it's not a good movie. If you haven't seen it, don't bother.
Yeah.
I really don't think it's worthwhile. I guess there's that plot twist.
Do they ever say $1 million baby?
No, they don't.
No.
They say $1 million.
Yeah.
And he probably says baby at a different point, and you're supposed to put it together. Yeah. I'm sorry, you seem really bummed about that.
Yeah, well, I thought some guy was going to get up and
the light went out of your eyes.
I thought some guy was going to have his fucking the part of the paper that tells you about boxing with the sports page, like that in one hand, like a cigar. He takes his fedora off and he goes, "Oh, that's $1 million baby." I was waiting for that.
I mean, it was stereotypical for that. Well, I'm sorry that didn't happen, Pat. Before you get too depressed and try to kill yourself biting your tongue off, can you tell people what's going on? You want to plug some of your podcasts and stuff?
Yeah, I have a podcast called Lie, Cheat, and Steal. We do stories about liars, frauds, thieves, and bullshitters. Stories about when Robert De Niro's body double lived as him for years and was getting hotel rooms and banging ladies until Robert De Niro hired a private investigator to take him out in a sting operation where they booked him to be a Robert De Niro lookalike at a hotel, and he showed up and got arrested by the FBI. If you like weird stories like that,
you just got one whole episode right there.
Yeah, there you go. You just got one episode free. So, I host that with, as opposed to all the ones you pay for, which are also free. I host that with the wonderful Kath Barbadoro, and that is, it's called Lie, Cheat, and Steal. You can check that out. Twitter, I'm at PZTX, and man, it's coming close, and I've always, I love being able to plug shows on podcasts.
Okay, well, this won't come out until July something.
That works out perfectly.
Mid-late July.
That works out perfectly. All right, check it out.
Yeah.
If you guys live in Little Rock, Oklahoma, Little Rock, Arkansas, or Oklahoma City, I am going to be featuring for Matt Sadler at the Looney Bin from August 8th through the 11th in Little Rock, Arkansas at the Looney Bin. Look it up. And if you're going to be in Oklahoma City, I'm going to be there from the 18th until the 21st, opening for the very funny Matt Sadler.
That was a delight. That made me feel like a real talk show host. I literally...
I was so excited to say that.
I felt your excitement, and I was actually proud of you for having to say it. But it just... I don't know if that will be funny to non-comics. But
no, it probably won't.
Getting to say a sentence like that is a real
so
treat.
Cool. It's fucking cool. The first time I got a chance to do it was early. It was on my podcast, and I had shows in Washington last year, and I got to say da-da-da-da, and then
it's just getting to say one of those ridiculous comedy club names, like
the
Looney Bin or the
I'm going to be at the Giggle Hut. Yeah.
Giggle Hut. Anyway.
But, yeah, that's where you can find me.
So Oklahoma online or in Twitterland.
Yep.
That's where Pat hangs out. Or just listen for the sound of his voice on 6th Street sometime.
Yeah, you just hear it in the night. Just like
and I'll be probably somewhere nearby drunk and talking about movies I don't remember.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please rate us on iTunes or Google or Stitcher or wherever you listen to us. Tell your friends about it. And we will see you next week. Bye.